Welcome to Alpha Talk, where we discuss all things auto. From F&I to industry updates, Alpha Talk is here to keep you in the loop.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Alpha Talk. I'm really excited for today's guests, some good friends of mine. Some of you may actually recognize Steve Rosenvall, our owner. Steve, thanks for coming back and being a part of the podcast.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
And we've got Van Ferguson with Alpha Outdoor Therapy, a good friend of mine and long-time friend. Steve, I want to kind of jump right into it. You've been on our podcast before, kind of talking about your military background. Before we introduce Van and really what his purpose is with Alpha Outdoor Therapy, maybe do you mind just telling our listeners kind of your background and how you're the connection with the military?
Yeah, sure. I'll just keep it brief. My father, Craig, was my commander in the 19th Special Forces for a year. He was a huge influence in me joining the military at the young age of 17. So through those experiences, they've, developed us to who we are today. So through that process, my brother's friend wanted to join Special Forces, and so my dad helped him through that process, showed him some things he needed to know, and as he went to earn his Green Beret, he met Van.
Okay.
And on a trip home, he had brought Van back to Utah, and that's how I met Van.
Okay, great. Van, we've had a chance, like I said, I got to spend some time with you. I'd love to maybe just jump into your background a little bit too. Maybe tell our listeners a little bit about what you've done, your military service, and then we can get into the kind of your purpose of being here.
Sure. Yeah. So, born in Eastern Kentucky, coal mine country. My father was a coal miner. Passed away when I was real young. Bounced around all over quite a bit with my mom. Mom was a single mom. Me and my brother. Ended up going in Kentucky basketball is everything. So ended up going and playing basketball at a small college. Once I got done with that, kind of didn't know where I was going to go with my life. I had the ever important Bachelor's of History. So tons of opportunity out there, right? So didn't really know what I was going to do.
I just can't imagine you as like a high school history teacher. That would be pretty...
Yeah. So my dream was a basketball coach and a history teacher.
Okay.
That's what I kind of wanted to do. But as I was coming to the end of my senior year, I was like, hey, what am I going to do? I really wanted to be a part of a team for some camaraderie. I was still in really good shape. And I love the United States of America. So went to the recruiter, didn't even know what I wanted to do. Really had no idea. Talked to this guy, and he was like, man, you're in good shape. You did this, so maybe it'd be cool to go try this special forces contract called an 18 X-ray contract, and ended up making my way to basic training, to airborne school, straight to special forces selection.
Yeah.
Basically, at the end of the day, I've spent about 7 years in the military. 2 of those training to be a Green Beret. The other 5 actually operational on a operational detachment, Alpha or ODA, A-team. I did 2 deployments, one to Nigeria in 2017, one to Somalia in 2018.
Yeah.
2018, the booms and bangs in Somalia stopped agreeing with my brain. And after I got home, the Army decided that booms and bangs were never going to agree with my brain anymore. So they decided that they were going to medically retire me from the Army. So spent about 5 years as a Special Forces Communication Sergeant. And
JTAC.
Yeah, a JTAC. Basically from the ground, talking to aircraft, where to drop munitions. Greatest time of my life, all throughout my 20s. And it's kind of led me in a weird path of transition after the military, like it does most people. And that's led me to Alpha Outdoor Therapy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and Van, both you and Steve, thank you for your, obviously both, have done combat deployments. A lot of our listeners are, either attached to, they have military families. There's just a lot of, respect, obviously, for the military and the auto space. So, I'd love to jump into kind of what Alpha Outdoor Therapy is, or AOT for short, as we call it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's kind of the next evolution. Talk a little bit about that. You mentioned it early, but that kind of in-between period. I know that you did some, you were a civilian contractor for a while, doing some SEER, which for our listeners, maybe just kind of explain to them, because I think that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. So post-military, I was trying to find my way, went to the business world for a little bit, went to go do Masters of Business Administration. Long story short, after about 2 years, I figured out that the business world was not for me. And a lot of guys figured that out. So I went back and did the contract thing, and I worked as a SEER instructor.
Yes.
So it's survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. So basically teaching all new special operations recruits how to conduct themselves behind enemy lines. Me specifically, I taught interrogation tactics. That's a heck of a job to have, and really got a lot of good experiences through that. And one that I got, and kind of a segue here into AOT, is while I was working at SEER, everybody was we were always getting emails about going on this trip out west, or this trip to Caribbean, fishing, hunting, all over the United States, free trips, right? And you would think that everybody would be jumping on these free trips. Let's go. Well, every guy or girl is like, my family and my wife is going to kill me if I go on this 5-day trip by myself.
Yeah.
While the family's at the house and I'm out in Colorado in this beautiful hunt. I'm gone all the time and I'm back, right? So talking with Steve, we decided, well, why don't we have something like that a little bit closer to Fort Bragg?
Yeah.
Right? And why Fort Bragg? Well, there's 33,000 active duty special operations personnel at Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
So how do we get closest as possible to the people we want to support? But it goes one further, right? Why special operations? Why not the Army as a whole? Why not the veteran community as a whole?
Yeah, because you hear about like the Wounded Warrior projects,
Yeah.
and, these things that it's really just anybody who's served.
Yeah, for sure. And don't get me wrong, we would never turn down anybody who needs the help.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're here to serve. But the fact of the matter is that on any given time, Special Forces soldiers are in anywhere between 80 to 130 countries at any given time in the world.
Wow.
Right? Most people in the Global War on Terrorism, or GWAT for short, hear that, right? Afghanistan, Iraq, maybe Syria, a couple other places, right? But they don't understand that Special Forces kind of work in the shadows. And why do we work in the shadows, right? For the U.S. government, it's very cheap, right? You can send a 12-man ODA to said country. They can handle all the government relations. They can handle all the military relations. They can handle civil affairs issues. And it's super cheap for the government, because at the end of the day, Green Berets are in a different country to do what? They're there to create peace, right? People don't realize that Green Berets are working all around the world to prevent war, right? We are in these countries to prevent war. And a byproduct that is that the average Special Forces soldier on a frontline team is gone on average 220 days a year.
Wow.
It's a lot.
So when you're gone 220 days a year, what does that do to family back home?
Yeah.
What does that do to the kids? The next byproduct of that is that a special operations spouse is 2 times as likely to take their life.
Wow.
A special operations child is 5 times as likely to take their life than somebody in a regular military unit.
Okay.
Stats are nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stats are nuts, right? So that's why we put our heads together and we're like, well, there are a lot of stuff out there for the actual soldier.
Yeah.
There are a lot of stuff out there for the couples, but what's out there for the whole family?
Right.
And how can we bring the whole family together to break away from the stress, anxiety that accompanies the job, and dad or mom being gone all the time? So that's how we kind of started bringing it together. Steve and I both have a love for the outdoors. We love hunting. We love fishing. We love being in the outdoors. So talked about it, and we said, Steve said, let's get a big piece of land close to Fort Bragg and let these families enjoy it. And it's kind of morphed through that, and we've worked our way. We have an absolutely beautiful piece of land.
Yeah. You got how many acres is out there in North
It's
Carolina?
about 118 total.
Yeah.
We have a 10-acre lake, spring-fed lake, beautiful open lake. The place used to be a tree farm. They built the lake to irrigate the tree farm back in the early 90s. Stocked pond. I think we're at 21 kids who have caught their first fish out there.
That's incredible. That's fun.
21 kids who have caught their first fish out there. And we've served over 100 families already.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is we're building a beautiful lodge for the families to stay in. Not even complete.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Building a lodge is not our mission.
Right.
Building out this land is not our mission. Our mission is to serve special operations families and do it to the best of our ability, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. No, and I love that. I think that sometimes the thing that gets lost is you think of, war fighters and they go and, obviously a combat detail is very, very different. But just that level of stress that you're always like, whether you're actively engaged in combat or you're actually preparing for it, you literally have to be, as an operator, you have to be ready to be deployed like immediately.
Yeah.
So you're always on that like razor edge, right?
100%. I mean, think about this. You have these highly trained men, the best of our country has to offer, and they're practicing with live ammunition all day long. They might shoot someone on their team.
Right.
And then they go home and their wife is like, hey, honey, what are we going to go do with the kids right now? Right? And so that stress level for him has got to come down.
Yeah.
And so watching those families come out to the property and everything is just there for them. Now dad's not messing with fishing poles, licenses, driving 2 hours, doesn't have all the gear he needs.
Yeah.
It's literally get there, have fun, go home and rest, and then he's ready to go to work in the morning. So that's kind of bringing that peace, love, joy, and chaos out of their lives has been instrumental, and watching that community grow has been pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Steve brings up a great point, and, the American people don't even think about this, the amount of people that die in training, in special operations training. So not only is it extremely dangerous going overseas on a combat deployment, but how many times a year are you fast roping out of a helicopter onto a rooftop?
Right.
How many jumps are you doing from 10,000 feet in the air training? How many live fires are you doing? How many explosives training are you doing? Scuba training.
Yeah.
Even
mountain
when
warfare training.
Even when you're training, not even deployed, the chances of a fatality are extremely high. We call them risk assessments in the Army. The level of risk assessments that you have to send to your hire just to go train, I mean, you have to have everything buttoned down, because Special Forces, one of our biggest pieces are humans is more important than hardware.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest sayings in the United States Special Forces. Humans are more important than hardware. And we take that very seriously in the military, but how can we take that more serious outside of the military when guys transition, right? How can we do it when they're not at work, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do. We try to give them a place that's safe, right? Because every guy's always hyper vigilant, checking out the exits, checking out where they're going, right? You can close this gate on 120 acres behind you, feel safe. Your family's having a beautiful time. And that kind of almost takes the stress and anxiety level down, right?
Yeah.
You go into TGI Fridays, my wife already knows, all right, he's sitting facing the door. I know where all the exits are. I know where every person is, right? And that's just inherent. It's what you're trained to do. But you go out to this place, that's not a place that you have to do that. You don't have to be on edge when you're with your family. You can enjoy our 3 miles of trails. You can mountain bike. You can ride our side-by-sides. You can kayak. You can do anything and everything with your family. Which is so important.
No, and I think you guys, obviously the overall mission is to create that space, right? But I think that you've done some really cool things, and just seeing it evolve even in because AOT's been around, I think, is it 2 years now?
Yeah.
It'd be 2 years in November.
Okay, yeah, and it's been awesome watching this evolution, because it is a really, like, the main mission obviously is the creating a space for the families to go, but you guys are starting to do some Van, you and I had a conversation just briefly about some of the leadership training, some of these other things that are kind of going along with with, the government actually realizing that there's more to these soldiers coming home than just put them back out, wait for the next deployment. I think that, do you mind kind of talking a little bit on some of where that evolution has gone?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have 2 new employees at Alpha Outdoor Therapy. One who is in the process of retiring is going to come on as our director of operations, Jesus Chuy Almonte. 29 years in the Army, 25 of those Special Forces. I think he's got 3 Bronze Stars, 1 with Valor, 3 meritorious service medals, I think 8 total deployments, and he just ended his career as the Sergeant Major of Special Forces Assessment and Selection. Talk about being able to build a leader, and help you find your purpose. Chewy has done a great job of helping me understand that AOT doesn't always have to be about us giving, right?
Yeah.
How do we give these special operators the chance to give themselves? So we've worked with organizations like the North Carolina Boys Academy, Troubled Youth, and Orphan Boys. They've come to our property, spent a couple nights out there. We've done survival training, but all of the cadre for that is active duty Special Forces guys, right? And you wouldn't believe the impact it has on these guys to be able to mentor these young boys.
Yeah.
Right? The mentorship that we're able to give almost like, feeds us.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we want to give this back. We want to give it to youth. We want to give it to young boys, because at the end of the day, if we don't have an impact on our youth, then who is the next generation of Special Forces soldiers, right? How we building the next generation? Because, we don't know what the future holds,
right?
But we need to have the best that America has to offer, and how do we develop that? And being able to give back for these guys is some of the greatest feedback that I get. Is that was one of the best weekends of my life, being able to give back to these young boys, these Gold Star children, or whoever it may be that's out there trying to get some mentorship.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned it earlier, Van, but the military really helped shape your life.
Oh, yeah.
Having a father, unfortunately, who passed away so young,
Yep.
There's a very different path you could have gone, right?
Oh, yeah.
Having that structure and having that camaraderie and that brotherhood and having these like adult mentors who really are the biggest badasses on the planet,
for sure,
who also can take you under. And that's actually one of the things that I think, for our guests who haven't been as fortunate as I have to be around some of these like elite warfighters, some of the best in the world, you guys are the most humble people I've ever been around. Like I remember, my dad served 23 years in the military, and so we've always kind of grown up with like, make sure you respect the military. If you see somebody in uniform, go say thank you.
Yeah.
Something I work with my son, my 8-year-old. He just like walks up and anybody in uniform, thank you for what you're doing.
That's right.
But every time I've said that to you or to any of the other people that are maybe active, it's just a job. It's a job. Like, and I love that like mentality.
At the end of the day, if you raised your right hand and made the commitment to the country, I'm no greater than you. Right? It takes an entire tribe to make this giant machine of the U.S. military go, right? If I don't have a cook, how am I eating? If I don't have somebody to fix our trucks, like, yes, we're taught basic truck maintenance, but if I don't have a mechanic there with me, right? How do they do it? So that's why a part of those 33,000 special operations soldiers that are at Fort Bragg, right? Maybe only 5 of those or 5,000 of those are the special operators. The other almost 30,000 are support.
Yeah.
Right? So that support unit is also, right, they signed up to go, but now they're support for us, and now they're gone 220 days a year. A lot of times these guys are a lot younger, so we also support our support members that are at Fort Bragg. So we allow them to come out. We allow them to go through the same piece, because at the end of the day, everybody raise that right hand.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing that we have in America, that we still have volunteers, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the older generations remembers when you didn't have volunteers and you got drafted, right?
Right.
As long as we keep our volunteers going, every single member of the military has a job to play. And if you pluck one of those jobs out, we're not that moving machine that we used to be.
Yeah. You've had a few events at the property already. I'd love to talk about that if you don't mind. Maybe just share the conversation we were having about some of the Gold Star families.
Yeah.
I know that was a recent one that you both had attended and put on.
Yeah. So Gold Star Children is very important to Chewy Almonte, who's coming on as our Director of Operations.
First, I'll say before we start, if the listeners aren't familiar, a Gold Star family is a family that's lost a soldier in combat and or a child that's lost their father in combat.
Yeah. So extremely amazing event. We call it the Passing of the Yarborough. When you graduate and get your Green Beret, you get a Yarborough knife. It's serialized. It's a one of one made for you. So we wanted to do this experience for these Gold Star children who their parents passed away in a war zone. And funny thing is, right, they're all young adults now.
Yeah.
In their 20s, 30s. Their parents passed away mid-2000s, and it was an amazing experience because kind of what they craved is leadership training and finding a purpose.
Right.
As a kid, a lot of their identity was in their father, right? Because their father passed away. All these organizations,
and some of these people that you're talking about, there's been movies, like Hollywood movies, made about these people. So we had the child of the first person killed in Afghanistan, November of 2001. Mike Spann. He was a CIA operative in Afghanistan, and he was working with the Northern Alliance to team up with some special forces teams. He ended up passing away. And then another one, if anybody's seen the movie 13 Hours about the Battle of Benghazi, Tyrone Woods Sr., who passed away defending the U.S. Embassy and the CIA safe house there. We had his son there going through. So it was an amazing experience. But it wasn't all flowers, okay? Yeah.
So we put them through some pretty hard stuff. They went through our survival training at SEER. They learned how to build fires. They learned how to clean and procure their own food.
Survival training.
Survival training. And then the next 2 days, whatever they were able to procure was what they took with them. I think they walked almost 10 miles in 2 days with about 4 hours of sleep.
Oh, real? Wow.
We walked through waist-deep water. We walked carrying casualties, and probably one of the best parts, we put them in a bite suit and let a military working dog get after them.
Well, and
they're like, can I opt out of this one? Where's the waiver? I'm ready for this.
And they had them go through tunnels that were 50 feet underground, just pitch black, like sewer tunnels.
Yeah, sewer tunnels at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No way. I love the smile on your face, man. This is like.
So, and here's the thing that comes out of it, okay? It all culminated out at Alpha Outdoor Therapy at our place. They had to our rubber boats that our dive teams use are called Zodiac boats. And it culminated at Alpha. They woke up right as day was breaking on the final day, got that boat in our lake, came all the way across to their safe zone where it was finally finished. But the best part about it is at the end we counseled all of them, right? So we call it counseling when in the military when people are just giving you feedback on what's going on. So we gave them counseling, and it was extremely emotional for them. A lot of times they hadn't been given very hard tasks in their life. They struggled with purpose, right? They struggled with self, right? Where are they going forward? A lot of times, and it's just a fact of the matter, right? When you become a Gold Star child, a lot of it is you're living in the shadow of your father, right? Your father passed away, and it's no fault of your own, right? You're super proud of your father, and all these organizations help, but it's hard to find your way, and that was what we got. Like, they hadn't really done hard things in their life. Super emotional. Actually, one is now talking about joining the Army in a Special Forces contract. Really good in shape dude. But we had, I think, 6 active duty sergeant majors, special operation Green Beret sergeant majors there, huddled around them, counseling them, telling them what they can do better, what they did great, and how they can find purpose moving forward. So again, not only is this meaningful for the Gold Star children, but those sergeant majors continually send us messages about they're still on a high from being able to give back to these kids. Well, they're not kids anymore, young adults, and help them find their way. We all exchange numbers. We still talk to them, and it's just an amazing experience that 2 years ago I never thought we were going to have this big Gold Star event, and now we're going to do it annually.
That's awesome,
right? And it's moved into a, hey, instead of give everything to these Gold Star kids, like, what can we help them with as young adults to make them better, help them find purpose, and move forward in life, knowing that they can complete really tough things, and that life is amazing once you find the right purpose. And that purpose might change. That's another thing, right? That purpose might change. We have no idea. I struggled with that. I know Steve has struggled with that, and we all struggle to find that purpose.
I mean, I think that's a perfect lead-in. Van was talking about helping these Gold Star kids or young adults, but the reality is he and I struggled with some of those same things after we got out of the military, because the military was our identity. And so you get out, you have this very important job and these tasks to do, and all of a sudden it's not. And so that's not your identity. It's not who you are anymore. So this rediscovery and building up who you are today was very challenging because the tools were not there when I first joined the military. And so when I got in at 17 years old and then got out in 2007, I just was working so hard, dedicated to school, that I was just focused on things and not really what was going on internally with me. So after time, when things started to surface and PTSD symptoms arose, it was like, what is this? I don't understand this. I've never felt this before. This isn't me. I'm one of the best people in this country, right? And you don't understand why you're struggling. So luckily, fantastic people like Van Ferguson, able to reach out to him, share personal struggles, also really close friends, Cody Palmer, Chris Grady, just amazing people that you could call and just share what was really going on in your life. So when we finally figured out what did we do to get ourselves right, we sat down and talked about, okay, well, we were in the woods, we were with good people, we were with our families, we were creating new memories. Well, guess what all that did? It took the drinking away, it took the chaos away, it took the nights out with the boys away, and I'm doing really healthy, constructive family things for me and my soul as well as everyone around me. So when we saw that change, we just said, we got something here, and we didn't necessarily know how to apply it. So over time, just doing it was big, right? So my father, Craig, passed from cancer. He was a Green Beret, and that's when we said, enough is enough. Let's put this thing together and let's go. So in passing that information to these other guys that are now coming out or they're struggling, we now have the right tools. We have the right people around us. So even if they are still active duty, they're coming to Alpha Outdoors to get the right experience with their families, and man, it's changed a lot of things. The other thing we are huge on, and Van and I have been through this too, we went and spoke with Special Forces Regiment Command, and we told them, we said, hey, in order to make this a family-friendly environment, this is a dry campus. No alcohol, no drugs, none of that. Now, what's the reason for that? Well, alcohol in the regiment has been very destructive. It's destroyed families. It's bad on health. It's just not good for the men. And quite frankly, makes PTSD that much more worse. And so now that they actually have a place to go with their families and not have to pull permits to use land at Bragg or go shoot at Bragg.
Yeah.
You know, they're able to not have that stress on them. And when they get there, they know if there's anyone else there, there's no booze.
Yeah.
They're out there with their families. Everyone feels safe. And guess what? It's another Special Forces family. So they are all going through it together.
Yeah.
They know what's going on. And the other cool part about it now, as teams deploy, these families have all met each other at Alpha.
Right.
So when Dad goes to work, the family unit is still intact.
Yeah.
And then Dad gets home, back to business as usual.
Yeah.
He's fishing with us. He's canoeing. He's not out drinking with the guys.
Yeah.
The other side to it is when guys do experience a tragedy within the team, right? Someone passes away. History has been, let's go drink ourselves to death
Right.
for this guy, right? And so Special Forces Regiment said, hey, we need to change that. So unfortunately, we had an event not too long ago where we could redirect that Special Forces team to Alpha Outdoors to honor their teammates' memory instead of going to the bar to drink in a toxic way, handle the emotions the right way. And man, it's just been a game changer for these Green Berets and their families. And like Van said, you know what? I'm out there helping them, but at the end of the day, it's really helping me.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that I love the most about what the organization you guys are building is, I think there's something about the experience, right? And I think anytime you have like a really cool experience like that, you're kind of on a high. But you know, I just got back from Europe with the kids and it was awesome. But now it's like, okay, what's the next trip, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not like this life-changing or this lesson that you're taking with you, where now you guys have this focus on mentoring, you know, being there for these kids, creating these leadership experiences where there really is now those tools that you're saying that they can take with them forever, regardless if it's military related or not. I think that's such a unique thing. There are places to go, retreats to go, and you know, you go out and have a good time for the weekend. But then what happens after that weekend, in the months and the years that follow?
Right. It's literally making changes for life, right? When they say it's a lifestyle change, it really is. Like you're committed to living a very clean, pure life forever. Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Another amazing part about it is, okay, right, we think therapy and we have therapy behind the name, but what our therapy is really subtle, right? We don't need to recreate the wheel, okay? There are a ton of organizations out there that already do counseling, therapists, all that. There are organizations out there for special operations, for drug and alcohol rehab. There are organizations out there that already do a lot of amazing things. So,
or even a new one, psychedelic treatment.
There are a lot of organizations to do amazing things. Instead of us spending our funding on trying to do that, what do? We have our own specific way that we do things, and it's super easy to partner with the other organizations in the community that already do these things. So we're not having to spend our funds on just keeping the wheel rolling. Right? So like the All Secure Foundation, Tom and Jim Satterley, absolutely amazing people. Tom, if you've seen the movie Black Hawk Down, Tom was a Delta Force operator on the ground there, lost a few friends there, really struggled with suicide a few times. He's very open about it. He's been on the Sean Ryan podcast talking about it. But they had their flagship event called Camp Homefront at our campus at Alpha Outdoor Therapy.
That was amazing.
It was amazing. Huge event. Had 50 special operations couples working on everything. Shoot, they had a guy from the Cherokee Nation there teaching arrowhead napping. They did couples yoga, all kinds of stuff. A full weekend of camping out there. Absolutely amazing. But what the All Secure Foundation provides is free counseling and therapy for special operations soldiers. So it's super easy for us to say, hey, you know, this is what we provide. We provide outdoor activities for you and your family to do. But if you need something more, we partner with this organization that you can go and get what you need, which 100%. Is a very amazing thing. We want to not fight for resources. We want to be a resource for all of these organizations because a lot of them, they have a lot of great things going on, but they really don't have the brick and mortar land to be able to do a lot of things. So it's very important for us to utilize those organizations for things that we don't necessarily provide. Because at the end of the day, after you come to a retreat at our place, the hope is that maybe your kid hasn't fished before, catches his first fish, and now he's addicted to fishing. And now dad comes home and he's always like, let's go fishing. And now him and dad are doing stuff outside. Maybe it's kayaking. Maybe it's mountain biking. Maybe it's looking for arrowheads, right? Maybe it's anything that gets you outside with your family.
Well, I mean, even a real story. You know, Van took his daughter out there, gave her a fishing pole, and he turned around to grab another one, and she already had a fish on it.
She was 2.
Yeah,
2 and a half.
so it's
I'm
like
not surprised.
On it. Yeah.
So it's true stories.
True stories.
That's awesome.
I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that this is the greatest product that can be put together on the ground. Right? Like on the ground is the greatest thing. I want kids to leave and say, this is the greatest weekend I've had. I've never stayed in a place like this. This is so awesome. It was set up so well, and that's my life's work, and it's amazing to be a part of it.
Everyone in Southern Pines knows Van.
I mean, it's hard not to.
Van makes friends with the excavator guy, right?
Yeah.
And then later on we find out, well, we got to clear 5 acres of trees.
Okay.
So Van goes over to him, hey, man, do you think you could take on another job real quick?
Yeah.
You know, well, okay, for you, I will.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like the relationship.
I love it.
It's all in Special Forces. That's the first thing
That's
they teach
all
you.
it
It's all
is.
about relationships. And at the end of the day, I want to share something also. And this is not just special operations. This is every veteran. This is every human being on Earth, right? And a guy on our board, amazing American, Colonel Stu Ferris. He's retired. He told me. One of the biggest issues with the world today is our minds are overstimulated and our bodies are understimulated.
Yeah.
Right? 99% of human history was the Stone Age.
Right.
Our bodies have been moving, working outside, and continually working on it throughout all of human history. Right? And why wasn't there a terrible epidemic of guys killing themselves when they came back from World War II, right? Why wasn't there this huge, horrible situation? Well, it's because they were farmers. They were blue-collar workers.
Right.
They came back and they worked with their body and they got out, right? They didn't come back to the house. There was no TV. They weren't sitting in front of TV. Their kids weren't in front of screens. They weren't accessible at all hours of the day.
Right.
And their minds weren't rotting like ours are today.
Right.
So brings us to another thing, right? We're building this lodge, beautiful, big, 8-bedroom, 10-bath lodge. Each room will have its own bathroom so people feel comfortable.
Right.
But when families come, we can do 4 families at a time for a weekend retreat. When families come to these retreats, we are cell phone free.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We are Wi-Fi free. We are cell phone free. Get back to getting that body stimulated again. Not just letting your mind work. Because at the end of the day, it's one of the scariest stats that I hear constantly. Since 9/11, we've had less than 10,000 guys or girls die in war. We've had over 100,000 commit suicide.
Wow.
Since 9/11.
Yeah.
And that's an absolutely horrific stat.
Yeah.
It's a mental health.
And it's mental health. And at the end of the day, the best way to explain it is our minds are overstimulated and our bodies are overstimulated. And I have to force myself to come home, put my phone on the charger, and be with my kids.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to do.
Yeah.
We all want to be successful. We all want to be accessible. We want to be able to text somebody back. But at the end of the day, it's not more important than your mental health. It's not more important than spending time with your kids. It's not more important than spending time with your family. And the most important thing you can do in life is understand that what it's doing to your brain is overstimulating it. And we know now, I'm not a psychologist, but it's open source that overstimulation causes to suicidal ideations, horrible stress, anxiety, and depression. And how do we fix that? How do we help that? And even 2 days away from your phone.
Yeah.
These Gold Star kids said that literally almost the best thing about the entire event is
No phones.
no phones
Really?
for 3 days.
Yeah.
They were like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever
Yeah.
gone through." They had never, in their whole life, they'd never really gone through that.
Yeah.
So the best thing that they had ever done was going 3 days without
Yeah.
a phone.
Crazy.
That's cool. No, and I think, especially for a lot of our listeners, like, obviously the military is a different level of like A-type personality,
Yeah.
especially at, the level that you've been at.
Yeah.
But I think that's such an important message because a lot of our listeners, they're high net worth people. They've worked really hard to get there. They work long hours. And it is almost like you almost look at your phone or those things as like a way to wind down. And it's not. You're just you're consistently overstimulated.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
And so you kind of maintain this level of like you never come down from that. Like it's not even a dopamine hit. You just are always input, whether you're at work or whether you're at home, and it doesn't give you that chance for connection.
Yeah, one of the Green Berets I was talking to at an event about a month ago, he said, we're so awesome at handling chaos. We are so great at just handling the worst situations possible. Why do we have to wait for it to be chaos? Why do we have to wait for it to be the most awful situation to handle it? And so his, what he's trying to say is we need to be more proactive about taking care of ourselves and our families.
Yeah.
Right? Even though you're really good at this chaos thing, doesn't mean it's healthy for you.
Yeah. There's a lot that any of our listeners can take away from that. I want to kind of talk about that. You talked about partnering with these other organizations that are like fantastic support, but I want to jump into the partnership between Alpha Warranty and Alpha Outdoor Therapy.
Yeah.
Obviously, we understand the background, how this came together, but I mean, if you're not inspired after hearing like Steve and Van talk and kind of the mission, like this is probably not the podcast for you. How does that relationship work? And if we have listeners who are out there right now, how can they come to you and say, hey, I want to support this organization? What does that look like, Steve?
The cool thing that happened when I announced that was the agents wanted to build more into the warranties and service contracts, and the dealers did too.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. So if they are building in $25 or $50 a contract, all of that money, 100%, is going to Alpha Outdoors. We don't use this as a profit center at all. Matter of fact, I'm paying for all of this out of my pocket right now until it can cash flow with correct partners. The cool opportunity for the dealers and agents is that we're going to have posters, we're going to have flyers that we can put in the F&I office that show a Special Forces family with a QR code on the poster. So when you are at the point of sale, you can say, when you buy this service contract, portion of these proceeds is going to help these Special Forces families.
Yeah.
You can point at the poster on the wall. They can look at the QR code, a little short video about what Alpha Outdoors is and how their money's helping improve the situation of Special Forces families.
Yeah.
And the camaraderie and just the good vibes that's come from that is phenomenal. So any agent, any dealer, anybody out there that wants to be part of that, give Alpha sales team a call and let's mark up those contracts for your dealers and agents, and we'll have you guys as donors and partners of Alpha Outdoor and the Alpha Warranty team.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, and I can attest to the fact that Van, I don't know if you have a background in like excavating, but you've done a lot of the work on the property yourself. Blood, sweat, and tears have gone into it. The resources that are being deployed to Alpha Outdoor Therapy are 100% going in to make these experiences for this family. It is not, I think sometimes it's hard when you have this for-profit, very successful company, or just in general, right? With dealerships, sometimes it almost feels like a marketing ploy. And that's absolutely not what this is.
Maybe we can add a short video, well, not a short video, an 8-hour video of me weed eating the whole place out there. It takes me about 8 hours to weed eat the whole place.
So please, Van needs a tractor.
So nothing runs without money, right? A nonprofit doesn't run without generous donors, amazing people. I guess all I can say is if you truly want to make an impact on special operation families, the most important thing you can do is, or if you want to make an impact on soldiers moving forward, the most important thing you do is make an impact on their family. And making an impact on their families is so important to the mental health of that soldier, their wife and kids while they're gone, and you can truly see tangible, results in these families, and pictures and testimonials, and just hear from the wives and what they get out of it, or the kids and what they get out of it. And it's kind of different, right? My wife always, she makes fun of me all the time because when I go home to Eastern Kentucky, I'm from very small town Eastern Kentucky, and everybody knows what I did for a living and everything. And I kind of get treated pretty good, right? Like, everybody always loves me. But where I live now, where we live in North Carolina, it's where every Green Beret lives. And she's like, you're just another guy here, right? So a lot of people, you see this on movies. You hear about guys doing this operation in this country in Africa, this country in the Middle East. Well, it's hard to kind of touch that sometimes. And how do you truly make a difference? Well, we're in the community. We live the life. The best part is we're already tied in with all the chaplains of every unit. Yeah. We're tied in with all the commanders from every unit. So I'm not telling them what they need in order to boost the morale or the mentality of the force. We go to the chaplains and say, hey, who's struggling the most? Which family's struggling? Which unit's struggling? Which unit's about to deploy?
Yeah.
Like, who can we support? And that's the most important piece, is being in with the chaplains, because technically they're the Army's safety net doing what we're doing already, but in the Army.
Yeah.
Right? So having that relationship with them is so important, because they tell us who we need to support. And our mission could change tomorrow. Right? We could have a boots on the ground war tomorrow where the amount of Gold Star children we're just exponentially growing. Right? And we don't know where it's going to go. Right. So the most important piece of it is that we be adaptable. And be able to adapt to the changing needs of the force, and not set ourselves concrete on this or that, but adapt to what the force needs. And we're so lucky that we're right there. We have a command sergeant major who knows everyone in the special operations community for the last 20 years. Our other employee, Matt Robles, 22 years.
Shout out to Matt.
Shout out to Matt Robles, 22 years, retired as a chief warrant officer. He's got 8 deployments. He's got 3 Bronze Stars. He's got 3 Meritorious Service Medals.
That's crazy.
And we couldn't have a better crew to help decide where these funds go, who they get, and who we need to bring in, and who is most important. And that's where we're going with it. So it's an amazing experience.
I love that. And cool. I think that's the thing, a lot of times, and look, they're all great organizations, but a lot of times you're dealing with, the veteran or the warfighter that's coming back, and either they're injured and they're not able to deploy anymore. And there's, those resources, but you're actively involved with families that are actively deployed in a lot of cases, and not always, right? But I just think, and look, I've never been in that situation, but and I think that being around, luckily some of the warfighters I've been around, you guys are really good at like compartmentalizing things. But if things are happy at home, or your family's taken care of, how much better of an operator are you in the field? Man. How much better are you able to defend our country and do those things that are going to be that very few people in this world are ever going to have to do, because you're not focused on. Like, I don't care if you have that bad call from the wife. It's still going to affect your day. And your day is very different than like going out and selling service contracts.
Right.
And your bad day could cost a teammate's life, right? So at the end of the day, having a good relationship with your family could save your teammate's life, because 100%. You're not stressed and anxious about, your kid might have attempted to commit suicide, which I had a friend who was downrange, and his kid, a friend who was deployed, and his kid tried to commit suicide. It ruined him, right? They ended up having to send him back. Now you're down a teammate. Now all this stuff's going on, and you don't know the impact that you're making that is generational, right? Generational on these kids. We always say it with Steve, like, Alpha Outdoors is not just a, hey, this is cool, this is awesome right now, let's do this thing, right? This is a legacy. This is a generational place that is going to help generations of Green Berets and their families, or generations of special operations families forever.
Yeah.
And that's Steve's vision, and that's my vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring this up real quick. Chewy was really good at pointing this out, that our culture and our society here has jumped very quick at using titles on our veterans, like monster, savage, broken, when in reality, we're none of those things, right? These are the brightest, fastest, strongest, most capable people our country has to offer. So the reality is we need to get away from those titles and just call these men what they are, the best men that we have.
Right. Right. And I love that you've taken this vision and you've made it a reality. I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's very easy, I think, for our listeners, very easy for me to, as somebody who's patriotic and understands that the reason that I get to live this life is because guys like you were out doing the things that we weren't doing, I think that's a real tangible thing that you can grab onto. And I would say this kind of in closing, and Van, Steve, I would love to have you guys come back on and just kind of talk as this progresses. I would love to actually talk to our listeners a little bit now and just say, these are the people that we need to support. These people who go out there every day and are doing the things that, look, a lot of us aren't capable of doing, quite frankly. Let's support them. Like, the proceeds that we make goes directly into helping these families. And this is what, if you're patriotic and you're an American, this is how you support America, by doing this stuff. So
and you're helping the right people. I think that's where we all kind of struggle in life. Like, most people are very generous and charitable, but they don't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
And so I even went through this thought process myself as we were doing Alpha Outdoors. Handing $5 to the homeless guy in the corner feels so empty.
Right.
And it's not helping anyone. But when you divert the funds to Special Forces families and you can see the huge impact that it's having immediately, holy cow, how do you not have peace, joy, and love over that?
Yeah, I love it. Van, do you want to just maybe give our listeners, like, where can they check out Alpha Outdoor Therapy? I know that, how can they donate if they want to go on and support it even today?
Yeah, alphaoutdoortherapy.org. We have merchandise on there you can buy. I'm swagged out right now.
Hats.
Yeah, and we have a button on there that you can click to donate. We were talking about this before the podcast, and I'll share it because it's pretty funny. So yeah, I was a SEER instructor, and I taught interrogation tactics. And what do we always teach our special operations soldiers? Keep off the internet with pictures of you doing anything related to special operations, right? That's open source. I'm not getting classified information, okay? And then I struggle so hard because I come into this nonprofit and we want to take pictures to show our donors and the people who support it and what we're doing. And I've been teaching this one thing forever, and then all of a sudden, here I am trying to be like, can we take a picture of you and your kids and all this? So I struggle with that, right? We try to do the best with our website or social media of getting the things out that we need to get. But at the end of the day, if you want to support, and the shirts, the hats, they're awesome. We have stickers. Again, a donate button on there. A lot of this goes to infrastructure projects. Turns out 120 acres is a large place. It goes to,
as you know from weed eating all of it.
As I know from weed eating for 6 hours. It goes to feeding the families while they're out there. It goes to getting them camping gear. It goes to getting them anything that they can use outdoors. And I'll tell you, my favorite thing to do almost is getting a remote control boat on that 10-acre lake and doing races with the family. I've never seen happier, even moms and dads, with a remote control boat going 60 miles an hour across a lake. It's awesome.
And here are these operators that get all the cool toys, right? They're like, this is what it is.
Yeah. So please support us. It's awesome. Again, this is generational. You want to truly help a special operations family and know that you're truly touching it. I lived it. All of our employees lived it. Steve lived it.
Yeah.
We truly care about all the organizations we support. We truly care about all these people, and it's a blessing to be able to run this. I can't thank Steve enough. He's trusted me with it. He's trusted me with this big bear, and it couldn't be going any better. and I love every bit of it.
Yeah, and I'll just, last thing I'll plug is really, you might be listening to this, and maybe you are somebody who's going through this, right? It's Men's Mental Health Month. Mm-hmm. Reach out. I have had a lot of friends that have been, in those situations, and if they had an organization like this, if they are special operators. This was obviously before you guys had started this. Reach out to Van. You can find him. Reach out to Steve through LinkedIn. Whatever it takes. You guys, I know that people do that, and I just know that you're not alone. Like, there are organizations and people that do care about you in a very deep way and care about your families, and they will be happy to get in contact with you. And whether it's Alpha Outdoor Therapy or some of these other resources. Yeah. These are the most humble, giving back to the community that has served us. So please reach out. You're not alone.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Brian. If you weren't in the military, you're an agent, you're a dealer, please reach out to me.
Yeah.
This is all the same stuff. We have great resources, and we know it takes a tribe. It takes us all to achieve our goals, a full team. So like Brian said, don't be shy. Please reach out.
Well, I'd love to have you guys back on and continue to see the evolution, and maybe we can have Chewy on, in the future.
Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely.
Chewy will be on here. Don't you worry about that.
Old Matt too. Yeah. We'll get Robles out here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, this has been great, guys. Again, thank you so much for your service, and not only your service in the military, but what you're doing now. Yeah. I think sometimes that's even the greater mission, and so
the mission really, never ends.
Yeah,
that's right.
Really appreciate you guys coming on, being vulnerable, and sharing your story.
For sure.
Thanks,
yeah,
Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Alpha Talk is an Alpha Warranty Services production. Learn more at alphawarranty.com.